You are knowing what you are wanting, an evolving thing, yes. And you have reached the place where you now understand that your desire will continue to expand. So there will always be yet another new desire in the process of becoming. Yes. So you are among those rare humans who have come to the place where those unfulfilled desires thrill you. We will continue to ask that question with the expectation that one day you will say, yes, I get it. I am eternal, which means my life, from whatever viewpoint I am living it, will continue to cause an eruption of yet a new desire or preference. And when that occurs, I have some vibrational movement that needs to take place before I match this new idea. That's why we are calling it a new idea. In other words, it's a new idea because life has just given it to you. And so the new idea is the place that you are expanding to. So if you are unhappy that there is a gap between where you are and what you're expanding to, that means you are not yet relaxed into the idea of the eternal nature of your being. When you get it, that there will always be yet an evolved preference, and that evolved preference will be what calls you forward, then you will rejoice in the unfulfilled things. You will rejoice in the idea that life can cause you to continually ask for more than you are right now able vibrationally to allow. For a while we have been calling this gathering the art of allowing. And what we literally mean by that title is the art of allowing myself to be a perfect vibrational match to that which I've become. It is the art of allowing me to really be me. It's the art of allowing, through my deliberate focus of thought, my vibrational matching to who I really am. It's the art, really, the art of allowing as opposed to the art of resisting. And it really is the art of going with the flow in a non-resistant way. But we want to give you even stronger understanding of what we mean by going with the flow, because we want you to first understand what that flow is that we are wanting you to go with. We want you to find the ease of relaxing in to the current that is so natural to you. Can you imagine yourself showing up at the river's edge with your canoe, and the paddles are inside, and you put it into the water and then point it upstream and then paddle very hard. And we say, point it downstream. Go with the flow. And you say, oh, Abraham, that's just lazy. And we say, but it seems ever so much more efficient. There is this current that has already been established, and if you don't fight the current, if instead you go with the current, then you can use your resources for other things, like enjoying life, like choosing the finesse as you guide your canoe. But if you have all of your attention and effort in trying to power the thing, and even more, you are powering it against the natural current, then you are having a struggle. Many of our physical friends disagree that they should go with the flow because they believe that there is not gain without pain. And we're wanting you to know that when you go with the flow, you then are fulfilling everything about who you are. Because going with the flow is finding a vibrational alignment with the current that is really you. No matter where you set your boat in, and no matter where you are in vibrational relationship to what you really want, in the moment that you turn and go with the current, you begin to feel the ease of the current now taking you. Now think about this emotional guidance scale that some of you are aware of. We've been talking about it for a while. So when you're really going with the flow, you are in the state of allowing. When you are going against the flow, you're in the state of resistance. Going with the flow is your perception of freedom. Going against the flow is your perception of not freedom. The better you feel you're going with the flow, the worse you feel you're going against the flow. So we talk about this emotional scale and how on the worst feeling end of it is that feeling of depression, which is really a perception that I am powerless, that something is happening or about to happen or has happened that I cannot control. And as I focus upon it, I can hardly get a breath. As you move up the emotional scale, revenge is an improvement over that feeling of depression. It is. Well, if you've ever been depressed and you got really mad, you know you felt better. At least in your rage you can breathe. And in your depression you cannot. And that is because there is less resistance in revenge or rage. Less resistance still in anger. Less resistance still in overwhelmment or frustration. Less resistance still in hopefulness or believing or knowing. Less resistance still in love and appreciation and joy. In other words, no matter where you are along this emotional scale, the more you are allowing yourself to be who you are constantly in the state of becoming, the better you feel. And the more you are resisting it, the worse you feel. So, as we talk to you about positive emotion, and we and others have been doing it for a very long time, many of you become guarded about the way you feel. We hear you say, cancel, cancel. You try to suck your thoughts back before law of attraction gets hold of them and brings something into your experience that you do not want. And we're wanting you to understand that, yes, of course, it is better for you if you feel joyful than if you feel despair. Of course it is better for you if you feel hope than if you feel fear. Of course it is better for you if you are believing something than if you are doubting something. Of course, in the long run, it is much better for you. But no matter where you set your canoe in along this emotional scale, in the moment that you turn and go with the flow, you're going to begin to feel the ease of the current carrying you. And further, and this is the most important thing that we want you to take from this gathering today, in the moment that you turn in the direction of the flow, if you will relax, some of you call it surrendering, if you will relax and stop the struggle, the flow will carry you to who you are and what you want. So the way it has been working, you came into this physical body from non-physical energy, and the variety of your environment, the contrast, if you will, causes you to give birth to constant rockets of desires. And in the moment that that clarification is born from you, source energy, who knows that no one would know more clearly than you, standing right there living at what you want, source energy who trusts you and knows your worthiness, knows that you should know, even if you are the one-celled organism, your preference is known by source and followed. So as that rocket shoots out of you, source literally rides that rocket, becomes that vibration. And the result of all of that life that you're living is that this magnificent accumulation of preferences is amassing on your behalf. Nice to know, isn't it? We could lovingly call it your vibrational escrow. In other words, it's all the stuff that your life has caused you to say you want, that source has wholeheartedly agreed with, embraced, and become. Now, because that non-physical part of you is over there so powerfully pulsing that which you have caused that non-physical part of you to become, there's this powerful energy stream. That's what's causing this current. On your planet, the current is caused by gravity as the water is flowing downhill. And so you get the sense of the power of the flow. And we're wanting you to understand that this current is called by source, always calling you to that furthermost place that you have become. So when you say, I want to fulfill my purpose, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about, of course, getting into the flow that you intended prior to coming forth into this body. But do you know that you are continuing to create from this vantage point? You didn't say, oh, from non-physical I was an angel and I made all of the decisions about everything that I would be and I set them forth, and now I'm in this body. I've got to find the clues and I've got to follow the path of that which was decided by me or someone else long before I got here. And we say nothing could be further from what you intended as the creative genius that you are. You did not come forth to fix a world that is broken. It isn't. You didn't come forth to make up for lost time. You haven't lost any time. You didn't come forth to compensate for some sort of unworthiness. There isn't any of that within you. You came forth for the sheer joy of having exposure to experience that would give birth to new desires within you. And you knew from that non-physical vantage point that the larger part of you, the non-resistant part of you, would flow with the idea and would be the signal that would call you forth. So going with the flow, the operative word or the sensation that you're wanting to reach for to determine whether you're going with the flow or against it is that when you go with the flow, you have sensations of relief. When you're going against the flow, it's the opposite feeling. Jerry and Esther have been noticing this week as they've been, so joyful, doing their work, working on a new book, editing tapes in a lovely park and beautiful trees, taking walks by a stream, listening to the birds. They have been in a tuned in, tapped in, turned on mode for days and days and days. And from this feeling of near connection all the time, the slightest little compliment just sends them into orbit. The slightest little bird chirping outside their window just puts them over the edge. The music that they hear through their stereo system gives them orgasms. The sensation of ecstasy, they did not realize how on the verge of it they were until one thing after another is taking them over the top. And so what we're saying is, as they are already in a really good feeling place, when they turn and go with the flow, oh boy, does it feel good. In other words, when you go with the flow after having been going with the flow really, really feels good. But if you are in despair and you turn and go with the flow, it's not ecstasy, it's not bouncing off the wall enthusiasm, it's not joyous rapture, but it sure feels better than what you were just doing. And friends, here's the thing that we want you to get, more than all other things put together. Have we said that 5 or 10 times already? This is the thing. No, this is the thing. No, it's this. No, it's this. This is it. This really is it. This is the thing. You're going to want to write this down. This is the most important thing that you will ever acknowledge anytime, anywhere. I am where I am. Good, wasn't it? I am where I am. So what does it matter where I am when from where I am I have the ability to go anywhere I want to be? Anywhere I want to be. It only feels urgent or awful to say I am where I am if you don't understand or believe that from where you are, you can get to wherever you want to be. I am where I am. And from where I am, as I turn in the direction of that which I have become, and I relax and go with the flow, I can get to wherever I want to be from wherever I am, no exceptions. The call of Source, when you are already in joy, sends shivers up your spine. It makes your body ripple with exhilaration when you hear the call of Source from your already place of appreciation. But when you hear the call of Source from despair, it sounds like revenge. And when you hear the call of Source from revenge, it sounds like anger, and then less anger, and then frustration, overwhelmment, and then hoping, and then believing, and then knowing. In other words, the call of Source is a relative thing because you're hearing it from your vantage point, you see. And as you begin to understand that I don't have to figure it all out, and I don't have to figure out everything about what I want forevermore, and I don't have to understand even how I got here, all of that is irrelevant. The only thing I have to do is somehow find a way to turn in the direction of the flow. And how might I do that? By thinking a thought and seeing if it feels a little better. By thinking a thought and seeing if it feels a little worse. And as you deliberately think and feel and think and feel and think and feel, you're going to begin to catch the vibe of it. You're going to begin to feel the vibration of that which is natural to you. And friends, when you begin to let the current take you, the leverage that going with the flow gives you. Because now you've tapped into all of these universal resources. Now your timing is right. Your agility is right. Your flexibility is right. Your clarity is right. Now things occur to you at just the right moment. You'll get an impulse or an idea to call someone, and it will be at the precise moment that they're there ready to receive you. You'll step into your traffic just at the time when it is flowing the best, in the way that will cause you to sync up with other drivers that are a vibrational match to who you are and what you really want. You'll rendezvous with thoughts and people and places and situations and circumstances and events in an unbelievable pattern of well-being. In other words, when you go with the flow, you have no idea the degree of sophisticated alignment that is set into motion on your behalf. When we talk about this vibrational escrow that's being held for you, we cannot even begin to describe the precision with which all glorious future experiences are being orchestrated and lined up for you. In other words, well-being abounds and it's got your name on it. And when you allow yourself to relax and go with the flow, oh, does this universe have the ability to deliver the goods to you?